A woman's shopping trip turned shocking as officers showed up while she tried walking out with nearly $1,000 in groceries.
I'm also familiar with the Groceries Police Department, just here being on video recorded. Do you have a receipt for all this?
That's on my phone, right?
Okay, can I see it?
My phone is going out.
Okay. So they just watch you walk out past all points of sale without a receipt. So
No,
can we go back and figure it out then?
my Uber's coming, sir.
Okay.
It was July 29th, 2023, at a local grocery store that probably didn't expect anything out of the ordinary. But things went sideways fast. Officers had been called in for a reported shoplifting incident, and as they arrived, the suspect was already making her move, pushing a cart loaded with items and walking past every point of sale without a single receipt. The moment the officer approached her, tension hung thick in the air. "Ma'am, do you have a receipt for all this?" he asked, calm but firm. She fumbled with her phone, claiming it was dying, giving excuses about an incoming Uber, like she had somewhere urgent to be. Her nervous energy was palpable, and you could almost feel the scramble behind her eyes. The officer explained she was being detained. She tried to negotiate, practically begging, "Can we go back inside and figure it out?" But the answer was clear. You are not free to leave. The back and forth was tense, raw, almost uncomfortable, like watching a thriller unfold in real time. Every second counted, and the clock ticked louder than anyone realized.
I'll figure it out, and then if you've stolen this stuff, then I will arrest you for it. Or we can go inside and solve this issue, and then we don't have to go down that route. It's your call. I was standing right here when you walked out, so let's go back inside and just try to figure it out. Okay, that's probably the best route.
And here's where it gets tense. The officer laid it out clearly. They could either go back inside and figure everything out calmly, or she could face arrest. The woman hesitated, glancing around nervously, weighing her options, but ultimately, she reluctantly agreed to return with him. Every step back into the store felt heavy, like the air had thickened. Employees who had witnessed her walk out without paying confirmed what the officer already suspected, adding weight to the situation. There was a strange mix of relief and anxiety in the air. Relief that things were being handled, anxiety over what might come next. The officer emphasized honesty and cooperation, watching closely for any misstep. Then came the careful, methodical inventory. Items in her purse, a dress she claimed wasn't hers, and a cart brimming with groceries. Every item placed under scrutiny, every glance measured. You could almost hear the unspoken tension, like everyone was holding their breath.
If your phone dies, Uber won't care. Okay, let's go back inside and figure it out. And then as we're walking back in, she's like, "Okay, I took everything." I was like, "Yeah." Okay. So 9:40? Yeah. Yeah, that's it.
Do you want me to do the transport for you then?
I don't. Well, so I was
good here?
Well, no. So I was curious. So initially, because I thought you guys were gonna have the occupied bird, I was just gonna cite and release. Well, I wasn't even gonna cite and release, but now that we have Manny, we could cite and release, and that way I don't have to file for investigation. So I could just have the cite now.
Book and release.
It would be a book and release, but it'd be a cite and release. Well, because that way she'd have a cite,
Right.
you know. So I'd cite her, and then because then it'd just be still not in custody.
No, it's not. You don't have to in custody, but you're going to take her to the jail.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could you process it for me? Just that way she's ID'd, because I don't like that she doesn't have a driver's license, or she doesn't have any ID on her, and
Just when it seemed like it might settle, the numbers hit. Nearly $940, creeping close to $1,000. And it wasn't just a few snacks. This was alcohol, jewelry, and a variety of grocery items, all unpaid. The officer carefully counted, noting each piece, calculating the total, knowing that the value put the theft solidly in the felony range. This wasn't a simple misunderstanding. The stakes were high. The purse was searched thoroughly. Scissors, personal items, miscellaneous belongings. Every detail mattered. Every item could influence what happened next. Handling it all required patience, precision, and a steady hand. The officer remained professional, yet the scene crackled with tension. You could sense the weight of accountability pressing down, the quiet drama of a situation teetering on legal consequences. With the total verified, it became clear this wasn't minor shoplifting. This was a serious breach, and the law had to follow through.
Okay. So you don't have an ID or driver's license on you?
Yeah.
Where?
Yeah.
Oh, on the front.
No, it's not it.
Yeah, I got it.
No, it's not it. That's my friend.
Okay. Stop,
Okay.
stop, sit down.
It's right here.
Nope, stop. Who is this?
That's my friend. My sugar daddy.
Hmm?
That's my sugar daddy. That's my friend. That's my grandmother.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna call him. Alright, so it's not in here.
And here's where it gets complicated. She didn't have a proper ID, or at least not one that matched her. Even worse, there was someone else's ID in her purse. A male friend, whom she referred to as her sugar daddy. Policy demanded a female officer be brought in for a proper search, and the procedure slowed down, adding to the tension in the room. The officer meticulously verified ownership of every item, asking questions, cross-checking what belonged to her versus what might belong to someone else. Every glance, every hesitation was noted. The legitimacy of her story was under scrutiny. Even simple items, a purse, a few personal effects, became part of the investigation. The officer wasn't just counting items or enforcing rules. He was unraveling a narrative, making sure that nothing was overlooked. You could feel the room's energy shift, the suspense tangible, as each small detail piled up, building toward the inevitable outcome. And just when you think it couldn't get more chaotic, the behind-the-scenes coordination kicked in. Employees reported seeing jewelry literally falling out of her purse as she walked, little glints scattering across the floor. Meanwhile, a suspicious vehicle in the parking lot had already caught the eye of another officer, creating layers of concern all at once. Every observation mattered. The officer immediately called back to confirm details, making sure nothing was missed, every story aligned, every piece of evidence accounted for. They coordinated quickly, checking video footage from the store to verify her movements and actions. Each clip was reviewed carefully, documenting how she bypassed checkout points, how she moved, and exactly what she carried. The tension wasn't just in front of the suspect, it was alive in the background, with officers and employees piecing together the timeline, making sure the case would hold in court. By the end of it, a case number was created, communications logged, and evidence formally documented. The teamwork was meticulous. Every small detail could make or break the legal process.
Get processed, okay? And then you're going to be released directly from the jail, okay, with all your property. But you did take almost $1,000 worth of merchandise.
Oh.
All right? So just due to the volume, all right, that's what we're going to do. All right? That was a lot of items.
Here's where it gets real. The suspect was formally arrested for felony shoplifting. The officer laid out the options. They could cite and release her, or go through the book and release route. Given the sheer volume of items, nearly $1,000 worth, book and release was the clear choice. This meant she'd be transported, processed, and then released. But the seriousness of the crime was officially on record. Property handling was precise. None of her items went into the jail. Everything stayed safe and would be returned after processing. Fingerprints were taken because she didn't have a valid ID, ensuring a formal record existed. The officer also explained the trespassing notice. 3 years, any return to the store would mean immediate arrest. It was a mix of procedural rigor and accountability, a clear message about the consequences of theft. Even amid the formality, you could feel the subtle tension. The suspect nervous but compliant, the officers careful but firm. Every step mattered, from transport to fingerprinting, and every decision would shape the outcome of this case.
So your DOL address is out of Yakima. I know you don't live in Yakima. So where you live now?
I live in Shoreline.
You live in Shoreline?
Yes, I'm North.
Okay, how'd you get here? How?
Uber.
And just when the story seemed one-dimensional, her background added depth. She lived in Shoreline and had arrived at the store via Uber, making the whole scene feel almost surreal. A woman traveling into town, cart full of unpaid groceries, caught in the middle of Her purpose? Visiting her daughter, who was in a local shelter. It added a human layer, a glimpse of her life beyond the theft. Through the process, her reactions were visible. Nervous glances, shaky hands, admitted she took the items. Yet there was a noticeable shift when she cooperated honestly. The officer acknowledged her transparency, noting how honesty could speed up the process and reduce friction. It was a subtle negotiation, not just of law, but of behavior and trust, balancing authority with human understanding. This section of the incident reminded everyone involved that behind every headline-grabbing arrest is a person with context, choices, and consequences. It wasn't just about the crime, it was about how it unfolded and how cooperation shaped the next steps.
Okay, I have the ID, right? Yeah. Yeah, I got both. Okay. I'm just gonna run around because I'm already doing paper on it. No point making someone else go. So you can clear. Thank you for. Yeah, it's in the back. So all your property is gonna stay out here so we don't take it to the jail. Okay.
And just like that, the chaos came to a close. The female suspect was processed right at the store, her items carefully handled, every detail logged, before she was transported to the local jail. Nothing was taken unnecessarily, and all her property was returned after processing, keeping things orderly amid the tension. You could feel the mix of relief and lingering unease. The officer made sure she understood the seriousness of the situation. This wasn't a minor slip-up, it was felony theft. Nearly $1,000 in groceries hadn't been paid for, and the legal system had officially taken notice. The incident itself highlighted just how quickly things can escalate. A simple shopping trip turned into a lesson on accountability, the importance of observing suspicious behavior, and the value of coordination between employees and law enforcement. Every step, from observation to documentation to transport, reinforced procedural integrity. It was a real-world example of how rules, vigilance, and careful enforcement intersect to protect both businesses and the public, reminding everyone involved that consequences are never far behind. What does this teach us? First, compliance and honesty matter. Cooperation can make a huge difference in how events unfold. Coordination between store staff and officers is critical. Without teamwork, details could easily slip through the cracks. The volume of stolen items directly affects law enforcement decisions, whether to cite and release or go full book and release. Verification of identification and proper searches are essential to maintain procedural integrity. Finally, the trespassing notice ensures that repeat offenses are met with immediate consequences. This incident wasn't just about catching someone in the act. It was a careful orchestration of observation, process, and enforcement, demonstrating how vigilance and procedure keep both the community and businesses safe. This shocking shoplifting incident shows how quickly police and store employees can respond to theft. Nearly $1,000 in groceries were recovered. The suspect was booked, and officers reinforced the importance of honesty, compliance, and following procedures. Stay vigilant. Crime rarely goes unnoticed.